Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Album War. Did you miss me? I'm back after a couple days in Boston, Massachusetts, but here I am back at the compound at the Chateau de Pardo in the studio, ready to give you guys some more content this week. So this morning's battle is actually based on the poll that's currently going on our Facebook page, which started yesterday. So if you haven't voted yet, hop on over to Sea of Tranquility at Facebook and make sure you vote. The two contestants today, all right, we got from 1972, the second album from Focus, sometimes called Focus 2, sometimes called Moving Waves, sometimes called Focus 2 Moving Waves, a great album. And then fast forward to 1978, the debut self-titled release from Supergroup UK, a British band of phenomenal musicians who put out this stupendous debut album. And then we had lineup changes right after that, and the band was pretty different for the follow-up album. But that's a story for another day. So we're going to put these two against each other today, and we're going to talk about each one, and then I'm going to tell you which one I prefer over the other. Okay? So let's start off with the oldest one here. So again, Moving Waves, all right, or Focus 2, second album from Dutch band Focus. This is the album that really kind of broke the band big, right? Their debut album. Good album, fun for what it is, but it was kind of here where it all came into place, thanks in part to the kickoff track called, Hocus Pocus. So any song that's got a killer guitar riff that goes something like pretty cool, and then you got the yodels, right? Oh, kind of a, I'm not going to do the high-pitched thing, right, because my voice just doesn't go that way, but kind of a cool concept, right? It's got some ripping guitar work from Jan Akkerman, one of the kind of unsung guitar heroes of the 70s, who was with this band throughout the decade and contributed some really good material. A lot of other good songs on here. Most of this album is instrumental, okay? That is where it was most of the material of the early Focus albums. Always considered a prog band, because, again, you got a lot of kind of cool hard rock guitar, some jazzy guitar, a lot of Hammond organ by Mr. Von Leer, okay, the leader of the band, but there's a lot of flute in the music, okay, a lot of little jazzy, kind of fusion-y bits throughout their music throughout the 70s, and even now, the band's material that they've released in recent years, very jazz fusion-ish, as far as like the kind of different musical elements that are going through their music. But always considered a prog rock band, and one of the more notable ones, although again, never really hitting the heights of those big bands that we always talk about, Yes and Genesis and ELP and King Crimson, Pink Floyd, so on and so forth, Jethro Tull. But some great stuff on here. So you got, Hocus Pocus, you got, and I'm probably going to butcher some of these titles, but Les Clochards, okay, Janice is a great song. Really good song. The melodies on this album are fantastic. This band was really good at putting together some really nice melodies and mixing it in with a lot of really fierce and ferocious instrumental interplay between like the guitars and the flutes and the keyboards, specifically Hammond organ. Then you got Focus 2, another great track, and then the whole second side of the original LP was this mammoth 20-something minute long track. What do we got here? 23-minute long track, Eruption. Okay, multi-part suite. How many parts to this? I don't know, a shitload. And really good, and a really great kind of vehicle for Jan Akkerman's gymnastic guitar work. Like I said, a very underrated player. Really fast player, one of the faster players from that era, and a guy who could totally keep up with, the likes of Howe and Fripp and Hackett and all those dudes, on the prog side. So a really good album, a big seller for the band. This was a really big international hit for them. Again, helped by that hit single Hocus Pocus, which is still played on, classic rock stations to this day. Really fun tune. All right, so then we're going to fast forward over to, like I said, to 1978. So you got a bunch of guys here who very notable on the scene. So you got drummer Bill Bruford, right? Notable for being in Yes and King Crimson. Okay. Also had his own band, Bruford, right? Which happened right around this time, shortly thereafter. You got on guitar a cat named Alan Holdsworth. Legendary, okay? One of the greatest guitarists of all time, who prior to this, in bands like, Higginbottom's Wrench and Tempest, Soft Machine and Gong, right? He played with Tony Williams' Lifetime. This is a guy who was just appearing everywhere and anywhere, and then he joined this group, okay? So it's a prog band. He's more of a fusion guy, so kind of an interesting choice. On bass and vocals, John Wetton, Okay, fantastic, fantastic player. If you know him from King Crimson and Uriah Heep and Roxy Music. Okay, and Family. Wetton's another guy who's just everywhere. Okay, so here he's on lead vocals and tremendous bass, and then of course you got Eddie Jobson on keyboards and violin. Eddie also was also in Curved Air. Wasn't Eddie in Roxy Music as well? I believe he was. Eddie's another guy who kind of popped all over the place. It was in Frank Zappa's band just prior to this. So again, very, very notable guys. A true supergroup and a great album. One of the best debut albums of all time. So, you got In the Dead of Night, a great tune with a great vocal from Wetton and an incendiary, amazing guitar solo from Holdsworth. Some of his best playing ever is on this album. By the Light of Day, Presto Vivace and Reprise, all right? The Incredible 30 Years, all right? Alaska, fantastic song. Time to Kill, Nevermore, and of course, Mental Medication, another just kind of really great song with all the players putting in powerful performances. What I always liked about UK is that they kind of had a symphonic sound. They had plenty of that fusion thing going on, of course, because you got Holdsworth and Bruford in the band. But they got that kind of like classic prog sound, little bits of Yes here and there, little bits of Genesis, some King Crimson, kind of the dangerous side of King Crimson. And it really totally made sense. I mean, this, as you can kind of tell where I'm going here, pretty much a perfect album, all right? So what's my opinion? Putting these two next to each other, as great as this is, we got a knockout here, folks. TKO, 6th round, UK wins it. There's not much standing up to this album. If you go across the history of progressive rock, one of the greatest albums, okay? One of the unsung albums in prog history. This is a fantastic one, no doubt. But, when you got Holdsworth and Bruford together in the same band, you throw Wetton in there and Jobson, kind of hard to beat, man. Kind of hard to beat. So again, TKO round 6. No need to go to the scorecards. UK wins it by a knockout. All right? I'm going to say that every time. It's just, you put anything up against this, it's going to be tough to beat. There's probably a couple albums out there, if I were to really think about it. But it's winning this one by a landslide. So let us know what you think, all right? And make sure you go on the Facebook page and you vote. Right now, UK's in the lead. We'll see what happens at the end of the 6-day period and see who actually wins and by how much. But go ahead and cast your vote. Again, visit us on Facebook. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. Visit us on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube quite often. So now that I'm back, got a couple more coming. We've got another great classic album war coming up momentarily. So stay tuned for that. And we'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.